15. So let me wait for a few more minutes. Then I will start. Okay, dear children, good afternoon to all of you. I hope everyone is fine, doing fine. Now, let me discuss about one thing where we ended up on yesterday. Last day. We ended up last day with the thing of the packing critical packing parameter or geometric factor. It is critical packing parameter or shape factor which was defined by the term V by A0 into LC, where V is the volume of the hydrophobic part or hydrophobic portion of the molecule. A0 is the optimum uh, head group area, and LC is the critical chain length of the hydrocarbon moiety or the hydrophobic moiety. And we have discussed in detail based on the shape of the molecule if the cross-sectional area of the head group is higher, substantially higher than the hydrocarbon moiety, then will say that it takes a shape of a cone where the head group area is higher than the hydrocarbon cross-sectional length. Then the critical packing parameter, if it is less than 0.33, they will form spherical or ellipsoidal micelles, and generally they are simple surfactants with they are simple surfactants with relatively large head group. Then second category was the surfactants having the critical packing parameter in the range 0.33 to 0.35 a point 5. These are the surfactants in the simple surfactants with a relatively small head group area. They are usually ionic surfactant in the presence of large amount of electrolyte. As I have mentioned, if you add sodium chloride, they will lead to form larger aggregates, and the aggregates are usually large cylindrical or rod-shaped micelles. The third category was having the critical packing parameter value in between in between zero point 0.5 to zero point 0.1. So they are the double chain surfactants with large head group, and the chains are flexible. They can be higher, bigger, or they can be smaller. They are flexible chain. So they are the surfactants which are capable to form vesicles, and the vesicles and the flexible bilayer structure. Means where so they are basically surfactant double chain surfactants having unsaturated hydrocarbon moieties which can undergo flexible which are flexible in nature. Now, if the critical packing parameter is exactly equal to if the critical packing parameter is exactly 1, means if this is my surfactant, the cross-sectional area of the surfactant molecule head group is, I'm sorry, the cross-sectional area of the cross-sectional area of the, so this surfactant is something like this. The cross-sectional area of the hydrophilic head group, this cross-sectional area, and the cross-sectional area of the hydrocarbon moiety, they are the same. So the critical packing parameter would be 1. They will form planar bilayer. Planar bilayer means this is like this. The planar bilayer. Sometimes the solid support bilayer. So they can form planar bilayers. Planar bilayers are like this. Now, if the values are like the earlier one, if the critical packing parameter is in between zero point 0.5 and zero point 0.1, means the hydrocarbon chain, these moiety, this hydrocarbon chain, they are flexible. Sometimes they can expand, they can even contract like this, or sometimes the head group, so it would be like this. So they would be able to form, they would be able to form vesicles, they would be able to form vesicles, and the flexible means they will be able to form curved bilayers. So they will be able to form the curved bilayers like this. And you have to remember, the in case of cell membrane, when in your third or fourth semester, you will be undertaking the physical chemistry or inorganic chemistry specialization. Then you will see, we will discuss in detail about the membranes. They are formed bilayer, and this is called flexible bilayer. This is vesicle-like structure which has a curved bilayer structure. They are not perfectly planar. They are not perfectly planar as I have just shown to you. There, this is called a perfect planar bilayer. So they will form a planar bilayer, perfect planar bilayer. This is like this, and this is a flexible bilayer. And this is called, if I consider it the outer part, and if I call it the inner part, like a cell membrane, in a, so this is, if it is a cell layer, so this is the intracellular component, and this is the extracellular component. And this leaflet, this one, it is called the inner leaflet, INNER leaflet. This is called inner leaflet. On the other hand, this one is called the outer leaflet. So, and if the critical packing parameter is greater than 1, means the cross-sectional area of the hydrocarbon moiety is higher than the cross-sectional area of the head group. So hence they will form a reverse micelle-like structure. They will form aggregates. So basically their hydrophobicity is higher, the hydrophobicity is higher than the hydrophilicity. So they will form reverse micelles or inverted micelles. Now, how would I know about that? So there are certain terms in the critical packing parameter you have seen. What are the terms? The first term is V. V is the volume of the hydrocarbon moiety. Then there is in the denominator there is A0, cross-sectional area of the head group, hydrophilic head group, and LC. It is the critical chain length. So how can you determine those parameters? How can you determine the volume of the hydrocarbon moiety? How can you determine the cross-sectional area of the surfactant head group? Usually that can be determined. I'll discuss one by one. And let us go into detail of that. So I have, whatever I have told you, it is summarized over here. Jader smaller head group, Jader large value for V by A0 LC will form extended bilayer, so and so forth. Sometimes I also have discussed on the last day that if you add calcium ion, then you can form a pseudo double tailed entity, like calcium would be here and two hydrocarbon chains, hydrocarbon moieties can be connected together. Now, how can I then determine the volume of the hydrocarbon content? বলেছি কি লাগে V equals to V equals critical packing parameter it is equal to V by A0 into LC. How would you then determine the value of LC? So you need to know the critical chain length, you need to know the cross-sectional area, you don't need to know the value of V. How can this V be calculated? So volume of the hydrocarbon chain. The volume of the hydrocarbon chain can easily be calculated using this expression, and it is expressed in cube in nanometer cube with the unit of nanometer. So what it said, v equals to n prime 27.4. Why the terms are coming, I will discuss it. Plus 26.9 n c prime into 10 to the power minus 3. 10 to the minus 3 টা আসছে এই কারণে to express the value in nanometer cube. Now what is this? What is this n prime? This n prime is the effective micellar aggregation number. Means in a micelle, how many monomers are there to form the aggregate? So number of monomers present in the micellar aggregate. So this is called, this is this n prime. Sometimes we call it as n also. But this is called micellar aggregation number. So you need to determine you need to know the micellar aggregation number. If you know that 27.4, this এগুলো trial error করতে 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 এই টার্মটা এসেছে. And then 27.4 is actually the volume of the, আমার যদি কোনো একটা সারফেক্টেন্টের শেষে কি থাকবে, মিথাইল, the methyl group will have a volume of 27.4 cubic nanometer. বোঝা গেল? তো এটা হচ্ছে ভলিউম অফ দ্য টোটাল কোর ভলিউম, মানে কোর ভলিউম মানে এই ভলিউমটাকে ক্যালকুলেট করব, ভলিউম কোর ভলিউম অফ এ মাইসেল মিক্স দিস. So if I know the core volume, then if I divide it by the aggregation number, so volume of one hydrocarbon moiety can easily be calculated. Clear? I repeat it again. If I know the core volume of the micelle, core volume মানে volume of the size, মানে আমি ধরে নেবো সেখানে কোনো void space নেই, এটা completely filled, there are no holes. So if I know the volume, core volume of the micelle, if I know the core volume of the micelle, and if I know the aggregation number, means how many monomers are there in the micelle, so I would be able to. So if I divide with that, if I divide the volume of the core micelle, my core of the micelle with the aggregation number, then I would be able to determine the volume of one hydrocarbon chain. If it is two hydrocarbon chains, then I will divide it by 2. তাহলে একটা হাইড্রোকার্বন, একটা সারফেক্টেন্টে যদি দুটো হাইড্রোকার্বন চেন থাকে তাহলে আমি এখান থেকে ডিটারমিন করতে পারি. ক্লিয়ার? নাও হাউ টু ডিটারমিন এই 27.4 টা কিসের জন্য? This 27.4 is due to the terminal methyl group. And what are there in between if I consider a surfactant? So basically আমি যদি বলি CH3, C16 hexadecyl trimethyl ammonium bromide, তার মানে CH3, CH2, তার মানে কি, এরপরে মিথাইল মিথিলিন গ্রুপ, তাই তো? CH3 CH2 কটা বলেছেন টোটাল, কটা কার্বন থাকে? 16টা, C16 একটা নিয়েছি, নিয়ে এখানে লিখলাম 14. ওকে, কেন লিখলাম আমি বলছি. তারপরে একটা রয়েছে CH2. ওকে, then what is there? Okay, let me draw it again, sorry. So I am having CH3, CH2 or 14, then CH2, then M, then CH3 whole thrice, and bromide is the counter ion. This is the structure of hexadecyl trimethyl ammonium bromide. This is the structure of hexadecyl trimethyl ammonium bromide. দেখো মিথাইল একটা লিখেছি টার্মিনাল, 14টা মিথিলিন গ্রুপ, তারপরে আরেকটা, তারপরে টোটাল 16টা কার্বন, 16 carbon atoms, and trimethyl ammonium bromide. Why I am writing in that way? This methyl moiety has a volume of 27.4 nanometer. And what is N prime C? N prime C is হচ্ছে টোটাল যতগুলো কার্বন রয়েছে, যদি 16টা থাকে তার থেকে একটা কার্বন বাদ দিতে হবে। অর্থাৎ if it is C16, then here N prime, if it is C16, then N prime would be equal to 15. কেন? N prime C টা 15, তাহলে কেন? এই আবার আসছি, তাহলে আবার বলি এখানে, this N prime is the my average micellar aggregation number means how many monomers are there in the micelle. 27.4 is due to the terminal methyl group, car volume. 26.9 into this NC prime. What is this NC prime? This NC prime is the one number, it is one less than the total number of carbons in the hydrocarbon chain. অর্থাৎ টোটাল যদি এখানে 16 থাকে তাহলে NC prime কত হবে? It would be 15. This NC prime would be 15. Why? Because the methylene group, আমি বলেছিলাম, the methylene group which is just in the proximity, just adjacent to the hydrophilic head group, it will be highly solvated, and that is why এই অংশটাকে অলমোস্ট বলে নেওয়া যেতে পারে it is part of the hydrophilic moiety. বুঝে গেল? So this can be considered as a part of the hydrophilic moiety. সুতরাং এইটাকে আমরা ডিসরিগার্ড করব। তাহলে হাইড্রোকার্বন চেনের ভলিউম কন্ট্রিবিউশনটা কোথা থেকে? ওই অ্যাডজাসেন্ট কার্বনটাকে বাদ দিলে বাকি যেটা সেটা ক্যালকুলেট করা যায় ওইভাবে। ঠিক আছে? তাহলে কি বললাম? in general the NC will be one less than the total number of carbon atom in the hydrocarbon chain. And why? Because because the first carbon after the head group is considered, it is highly solvated, and it can be considered as a part of the hydrophilic moiety. I can calculate the if it is made up of saturated hydrocarbon. দেখো, if I know the micellar aggregation number, if I can calculate the volume of the core of the micelle, I will divide it with the aggregation number and I will get the value. Or on the other hand, if you know the aggregation number, if you know the hydrocarbon chain, number of carbon atoms in the hydrocarbon chain, you can then calculate the volume. So volume টা calculate করলে তাকে aggregation number দিয়ে ভাগ করে দাও, you will get the volume of one hydrocarbon chain. Clear? So I am now in a position to calculate the volume of one hydrocarbon chain. And I have mentioned that if the number of hydrocarbon chain is 1, then n value would be equal to the aggregation number n. And if the surfactant has 2 hydrocarbon chains, then I will consider the n prime value equals to 2n. And when it is applicable, if I consider the micellar core having no hole. তার মানে কি? আমি এটা মাইসেলের ক্ষেত্রে ইন কেস অফ এ মাইসেল, তাহলে মাইসেলের ডাইমেনশন এবারে কি করে পাবো? আমি ডাইমেনশনটা কি করে পাবো? না, আমি ইফ ইট ইজ এ মাইসেল, আমি যদি 2 ডাইমেনশনে কনসিডার করি আর 1 ডাইমেনশন, তার মানে এইখান থেকে এইখানের লেন্থটা হচ্ছে it is basically the radiusটা হচ্ছে the length of a hydrocarbon chain of the surfactant. Clear? So this is the length of the hydrocarbon chain. Now how do the hydrocarbon chain remain in the solution? Now in case of basically what is the carbon-carbon bond length? What is the carbon-carbon bond length? Anyone? Can you unmute your phone and tell me? What is the hydrocarbon chain? The carbon-carbon bond length for a single bond? Anyone? I need to interact with you. Anindita, Amrita, Sushmita, Kamal, anyone? Can you unmute?
1.54 Armstrong.
Very good. Very good. কখন? Very good. Who is it? কে বললে এটা বাবা?
স্যার সুশান্ত মন্ডল।
ভেরি গুড, থ্যাংক ইউ। যারা বুঝতে পারেনি তাদের কোনো এ নেই, যাই হোক আমি আই আই আস্ক এনি ওয়ান টু অ্যান্সার টু। সো তার মানে কি, কখন? যখন কার্বন কার্বন এইভাবে থাকবে। তাহলে দেখা যাচ্ছে তো, নেক্সট হচ্ছে তাহলে ইফ আই পুট অ্যানাদার কার্বন, তাহলে 1.54 ইন্টু 2 হওয়া উচিত ছিল, তাহলে এইখান থেকে এইখানে ডিস্টেন্সটা। বাট ইন রিয়েলিটি দ্য কার্বন দিস স্টে লাইক দিস। সো কার্বন এন্ড, সো ডিস্টেন্স বিটুইন এই যে কার্বন থেকে এই কার্বনের ডিস্টেন্সটা এক্স্যাক্টলি নট 1.54, it would be less than that, it would be less than that. And what do we, তাহলে আমাকে কি জানলাম, এই যে বললাম আমি তাহলে কি পেয়ে গেছি, আমি এই v টার্মটা পেয়ে গেছি। I have now obtained the value of v. I need to know the value of LC. How can the LC be calculated? The LC can be calculated, you have to remember, they remain in the trans position, they remain in a zigzag position, so they are not completely straight. What would be that length? That can be calculated. So L max, if it is in the maximum extended state, that would be equal to 0.15 plus 0.125 1265 into NC prime. So maximum extended length for a normal hydrocarbon chain with NC prime core carbon. Again, remember, you are excluding the carbon which is very much adjacent to the hydrophilic head group. তাহলে যে টোটাল লেন্থ থেকে একটা বাদ দিয়ে দিচ্ছি, তাহলে L max would be equal to, L max will be equal to, তাহলে the maximum extended chain length, maximum extended length L max, that would, for a normal hydrocarbon chain with NC prime core carbon atoms, can be expressed by using, by this expression, L max equals to 0.15 plus 0.1265 NC prime nanometer. Again, you have to remember why I am saying it so. This 0.15 is the dimension due to the terminal methyl group, and তারপরের যে অ্যাডজাসেন্ট মিথিলিন গ্রুপ, তাদের লেন্থ কন্ট্রিবিউশন সাইজ ডিস্টেন্স কন্ট্রিবিউশনটা হবে প্রত্যেকটার 0.1265, তাহলে এক্স্যাক্টলি নট 1.54 অ্যাংস্ট্রম। কেন এটা? বিকজ দ্য কোর অফ দ্য মাইসেল, in the core of the micelle, the hydrocarbon chains are in a liquid state and they are never fully extended. As I saw you earlier, sorry, they are never fully, and I can tell that, okay, the carbon, it is not so. It is like carbon, it is like এই মানে একটা দুটো তিনটে কার্বন অ্যাটম এরা এইভাবে থাকে ট্রান্সপোজিশন থেকে। তাহলে সো in a surfactant, the hydrocarbon chains are like this. So if you can remember, that is why whenever I have described a surfactant, I have shown in that way, or I have shown it like this. I could have shown it as a straight line, but I have never shown them as a straight line. Why? Because they are in a fluid state. Fluid state means they are not mostly extended state, but they are in a trans position. Or now I can say, due to the presence of these kinks, or due to the presence of this Gauss conformation, so I can say that L max will amount to only 80% of the theoretical max. তাহলে দুটো জিনিস হলো, এক হচ্ছে they will not be fully stretched, because they are in a liquid state, তাহলে কি হবে, L max ভ্যালুটা হবে যেটা থিওরিটিক্যালি ক্যালকুলেট করব তার ম্যাক্সিমাম 80%। ক্লিয়ার হলো? নাও তাহলে আমাকে এখন কি করতে হবে, নাও আই ক্যান অলসো, তাহলে আমাকে এবারে কি জানতে হবে, আই নিড টু নো দ্য স্ট্রাকচার অফ দ্য মাইসেল। তাহলে একটা মাইসেলকে ক্যারেক্টারাইজ করতে গেলে what are the parameters that you need to know? The volume of the core. The volume of the core can theoretically be calculated. You need to determine the aggregation number. Aggregation number of a micelle can experimentally be determined. And you need to know the cross-sectional area. Then I need to characterize. We have already discussed a lot on the thermodynamics of micellization. It is an entropy driven process. এই কথাগুলি আমরা আলোচনা করব। তাহলে এখন আমাদের কি করতে হবে, I need to go in characterizing a micelle. I need to study the surfactant aggregation phenomena. What did I need to do? I need to go in understanding the surfactant aggregation phenomena. কি কি লাগবে আমাকে, তাহলে এগ্রিগেশন একটা মাইসেলের স্ট্রাকচার সম্বন্ধে জানতে গেলে আমাকে কি কি জানতে হবে, I need to know the aggregation number, I need to know the cross sectional area of the surfactant. Theoretically I can calculate the L, theoretically I can calculate the V, but these parameters can be calculated by doing experiment. Okay, now how to determine the aggregation number. Suppose this is a micelle. There are different methods. Let me just discuss about a single one. Sorry, not single, but one or two or three methods. Now, if I know the average mass of a monomer, and if I can determine the mass of this aggregate, so I will simply divide the mass of the aggregate with the mass of the monomer, and I will get the value of n. So aggregation number is nothing but the molecular weight of the aggregate by the mass of a monomer, or I can say the aggregation number, micellar aggregation number, is the molar mass of a micellar aggregate, or sometimes I write it as Sn by the molar mass of a surfactant monomer. Now the mass of the molecular weight of, so basically it is to determine the molecular weight of a surfactant aggregate. And you have to remember, again, the micelle is not a very static entity. সবসময় যখন এটা মাইসেল তৈরি হচ্ছে, if it is a micelle, it is highly possible that মনে হতে পারে যে মনোমার গুলো যা এগ্রিগেট করে গেল তারা বোধহয় এখানেই রয়ে গেল। It is like you are attending the classes. When you are attending the classes, you are supposed to stay inside the class. But like when you are in virtual class, I really don't know whether you are attending the class or not. That means a surfactant monomer can go out into the bulk and remain as a monomer. At the same time, a monomer which is there in the bulk, it can enter into the micellar entity. So the surfactant monomer, the aggregation and deaggregation process is a very dynamic process. Like বলেছিলাম, evaporation and condensation phenomena. It is a dynamic process. So surfactant molecule, the micelle, is a very dynamic entity. You have to remember. So if I know the mass of this micellar aggregate, then if I know the mass of a monomer, that is surfactant molecular weight কত, তাহলে তাকে যদি ডিভাইড করে দিই তাহলেই আমি তার মনোমার একটা কটা such monomer are there, basically it is an average molecular weight. How many such monomers are there in the micelle? I can easily calculate. How? By using light scattering, static light scattering technique, or by small angle neutron scattering technique. This is SANS, small angle neutron scattering. In India, we only have one small angle neutron scattering. This is called Dhruva reactor because you need to generate neutron. It is there under the position of BARC, under the Department of Atomic Energy. I know few scientists over there like V.K. Oswal or P.A. Hassan. They do lot of small angle neutron scattering study where the shape of the micelles and the aggregation number of the micelle can easily be determined. Or using simple static light scattering, we have a light scattering device in our university, the USHIC, University Scientific Instrumentation Center. Here, using light scattering technique, so basically using light scattering technique, you can determine the mass of the aggregate. So if you know the mass of the aggregate, just divide it by the mass of a monomer, so you'll be able to determine the aggregation. Okay, now next thing is the most convenient method in determining the micellar aggregation number is the fluorescence quenching. FLUORESCENCE, fluorescence quenching technique. How? If I have a fluorescent probe, if I have a fluorescent probe with fluoresce, if I have a fluorescent probe like this, if I have a fluorescent probe like this, then if I put a quencher in presence of it, fluorescent quencher means then what would happen? Suppose this is the fluorescence, fluorescence intensity versus say wavelength I am plotting. Now if I add quencher into it, the fluorescence intensity will decrease. So this is called, the fluorescence is said to be quenched. Like if you are very thirsty, then if you are given water, so after drinking water, you can quench your thirst. So this is called quenching of fluorescence. Now if I perform this, so basically probe and quencher, probe means fluorescent probe and quencher, they form a species FU and F, which is effectively non-fluorescent. Or they can transfer the energy, the fluorescent probe, it can transfer the energy to the quencher and they get deactivated. Now, if I perform this quenching phenomena in presence of micelle, say if you could recollect, we have used say pyrene. We have used pyrene as a fluorescent probe. We have used pyrene as a fluorescent probe. We have used a pyrene as a fluorescent probe. Sorry, we have used pyrene as a fluorescent probe. Now, this pyrene is highly hydrophobic. Now, if you have a micelle, then it is obvious that this pyrene fluorescent probe will prefer to stay at the micellar surface or at the interface or the core of the micelle. And when I perform the quenching experiment, the quenching would occur at the micelle. So here the quencher, usually hexadecyl pyridinium chloride HPC, or its trade name, commercial name is cetyl pyridinium chloride, because hexadecyl is also called cetyl. cetylpyridinium chloride, it acts as a quencher. So it can quench the fluorescence of pyrene. So what would be happening if you just perform the quenching of fluorescence of pyrene using a suitable quencher, like here in hexadecyl pyridinium chloride. Hexadecyl pyridinium chloride মানে খুব simple structure. You have a pyridinium ring, then you make it positively charged. So chloride, then it is a hexadecyl chain. So hexadecyl this pyridinium ring has the capability to get to quench the fluorescence of pyrene. And this quenching phenomena would take place at the micellar surface. তাহলে যত বেশি মাইসেলটা বড় হবে তার কোয়েঞ্চিং একরকম হবে। তাহলে কোয়েঞ্চিং উড ডিপেন্ড অন দ্য সাইজ অফ দ্য মাইসেল। সাইজ অফ দ্য মাইসেল কার উপরে ডিপেন্ড করবে? অবভিয়াসলি দ্য এগ্রিগেশন নাম্বার। তাহলে I can determine by understanding the quenching of fluorescence or by fluorescence quenching technique, I can determine the micellar aggregation number. And what is the equation? Equation is basically if the fluorescence intensity of the probe in absence of quencher is F0 and in presence of quencher if it is F, then that is equal to কার উপরে ডিপেন্ড করবে? That will depend on the concentration of quencher by concentration of micelle. যত বেশি কোয়েঞ্চার থাকবে তত বেশি কোয়েঞ্চ হবে। আবার যদি নাম্বার অফ মাইসেল বেশি হয়, মাইসেলের সংখ্যা যত বেশি হবে তত কি হবে? তাহলে তত তার কি হলো, তত ধরো আগে একটা মাইসেল ছিল, তাহলে কোয়েঞ্চিংটা কোথায় হবে? প্রোব আর কোয়েঞ্চার থাকার সম্ভাবনা সব থেকে বেশি কোথায়? মাইসেলের সারফেসে। তাহলে যত নাম্বার অফ মাইসেল বাড়াবো তত তার কোয়েঞ্চিং এর প্রবাবিলিটি তত কমে যাবে। So now this is so ln F0 by F is equal to quencher concentration by micellar concentration. Now তাহলে এখন প্রশ্ন হচ্ছে এগ্রিগেশন নাম্বার কত পাবো? Now how can you determine the concentration of micelle? Concentration of micelle is equal to the total surfactant concentration minus CMC, কারণ এই পরিমাণ সারফ্যাক্ট্যান্ট কি রয়েছে, তারা মনোমার হিসেবে রয়েছে। তাহলে সারফ্যাক্ট্যান্ট which are in the form of aggregate কত সালে? তাহলে কত সেটা? It is the concentration of the surfactant which is in the aggregated state. Total surfactant concentration minus critical concentration because this amount of surfactant remains free in the solution as the molar. Now if you divide it by its aggregation number, then you get the micellar concentration. Is it clear? তাহলে ln F0 by F এটা করে দেখা গেছে ইকুয়েশনটা এরকম, ln F0 by F is equal to কোয়েঞ্চার concentration by micelle concentration. কেন? যত বেশি কোয়েঞ্চার তত বেশি কোয়েঞ্চিং হবে, যত বেশি মাইসেল থাকবে তার কোয়েঞ্চিং এফিসিয়েন্সি তত কমবে। Micellar concentration কি করে বের করতে পারি? Micellar concentration is equal to the total surfactant concentration minus CMC by A. Now what you do, if you just put the value over here, what do you get? ln F0 by F, ln F0 by F is equal to কি হবে? Quencher concentration by total surfactant concentration minus CMC by N. Right? So this N will come over here. So I can put this N over here. So ln F0 by F, that is equal to ln F0 by F, that equals to N into quencher concentration by total surfactant concentration minus CMC. Now if the CMC value is very low, then you can ignore it. The CMC, now how do we need to do? So we need to keep the surfactant concentration at least 10 times higher than its critical micelle concentration. In our laboratory, if you have the opportunity, you can meet any of our PhD scholars. They will explain you further how do they do that. So you keep the surfactant concentration, total surfactant concentration at least 10 or 20 times higher than the CMC. Then keep the surfactant concentration fixed, vary the quencher concentration, measure the fluorescence intensity, then make a plot of ln F0 by F against the quencher concentration. So effectively, you need to make a plot of, so your equation, final equation, ln F0 by F, that equals to N into quencher concentration by total surfactant concentration minus CMC. So if you make a plot of ln F0 by F against the quencher concentration, you should get a straight line passing through the origin from the slope of which you will get the value of N by total surfactant concentration minus CMC. Right? So slope gives you the value of N by total surfactant concentration minus CMC. If you know the CMC value and if you know the total surfactant concentration, just divide the, so N would be just multiply the slope with that parameter, you will get the aggregation. I again open it up. Do you have any? Okay, let me share before that. Let me again share you with the slide, like where I can determine the aggregation number. How one can determine the aggregation number? Here you go. So forget about what are the numerical values given written over there. So here what you see in this figure, so what I do, this is the fluorescence of pyrene. I use pyrene as the fluorescent probe. Then you go on adding the quencher, you go on increasing the concentration of the quencher. Here in hexadecyl pyridinium chloride. So what would be happening? The fluorescence will get quenched, or the fluorescence intensity will decrease with increasing quencher concentration. Now what you do, you make a plot of what? You make a plot of ln I have met, sorry, they have shown it here as ln I0 by I have told it as ln F0 by F, means I0 or F0, they bears the same meaning, the fluorescence intensity in absence of quencher. So you record the spectra where there is no quencher, then you vary the concentration of the quencher, then you make a plot of ln I0 by I, obviously in this এই জায়গায় এই মানে the higher wavelength, this data বলা হয় I3, the third vibronic peak of pyrene. Then if you make such a plot, so you will get a linear plot passing through the origin, and from the slope you will get the value of slope is equal to the aggregation number divided by the total surfactant concentration minus CFC. I hope you are also taking note on your notebook. Please keep your notebook open with a pen so that you can keep a record on that. And I am sharing the slide, so it will. I am sharing the, again today I will be sending you the video lecture, so you'll be able to go through it. You can download. যার রয়েছে, আমি ওই যাদের ইমেলটা পেয়েছি আমি তাদেরকে এটা শেয়ার করে দেবো. You can go through that. So you can simply determine the micellar aggregation. Okay, so you can determine the value of V, the volume of the core of the micelle. You know the aggregation number, so you can determine the volume of each hydrocarbon moiety. What is the next one? The next one is the determination of cross-sectional area. Determine the cross-sectional area of the surfactant molecule. How can you do that? For that, we need to go for a little bit of thermodynamics. You see, when we take the surfactant molecules, they are basically getting absorbed at the air-water interface. So I am taking, let me again quickly go to that classical picture where I am having surfactant in the form of monomer in water. So there would be this hydrophobic part will always feel a repulsive force, and this hydrophilic part will favor to remain in water. And how can it do? So do it so if they can get absorbed at the air-water interface. And so if I consider a unit cross-sectional area, if I consider a unit cross-sectional area, মনে করে দেখো একটা ক্রস সেকশন একটা ইমাজিনারি একটা প্লেন কনসিডার করছি। এই প্লেনটা আমি যত নিচে এখানে যখন নিচে আসবো মানে বাল্কে তার ইউনিট ক্রস সেকশনাল এরিয়ায় নাম্বার অফ সারফেক্ট্যান্ট মলিকিউল would be less. Because তাহলে বলতে পারি because of the interfacial adsorption, the number of surfactant molecule at the interface will always be higher per unit cross-sectional area compared to the bulk. This is known by, so there would be always an excess, and it is surface excess concentration. Concentration, usually always we mean concentration in 3 dimensions in terms of volume, but here the concentration is in terms of the cross-sectional area. So this gamma I, this is called surface excess. This is called surface excess. Again, let me go. So gamma, that is equal to NIS, number of NI মানে ith component. If I am having water and surfactant, so it is a 2-component system, and you know in solute which is present in lesser amount, that is defined as 2 component 2, and water would be defined as component 1. So here it will be N1S. So number of surfactant molecule at the surface will always be higher per unit cross-sectional area compared to the bulk. This is an imaginary surface. So A is the interfacial area. So theoretically, this surface excess could either be positive or could be negative. If the substance does not prefer to get absorbed at the interface, then the surface excess would be negative. If they prefers to get absorbed at the air-water interface, then the surface excess would be positive. If it is the same, if there is no additive, just one component system, there won't be any surface excess, the value will attain unity. That means, so it needs to cross an energy barrier. So I need to get the help of thermodynamics in determining the surface excess. How can one determine the surface excess? One can determine the surface excess very simply by measuring the surface tension. One can determine the surface excess simply by measuring the surface tension. I'll come to it shortly. And the second thing is that I said there would be always an excess of surfactant at the air-water interface. Okay? Now how to determine that surface excess? I need to get the help of chemical potential. I need to get the help of chemical potential, entropy, enthalpy, and free energy change in determining the surface excess. Simply, I can tell you that the surface excess can be determined. Let me start with the end. মানে শেষ থেকে শুরু হলে শেষটাই আগে এসে যায়. So if I make a plot of surface tension against the logarithm of surfactant concentration or log C, then the profile looks like this. If you could recollect or recall the lecture when I discussed about the surface different methods in determining the critical micelle concentration, I mentioned that surface tension is a method, electrical conductance is a method for ionic surfactant, fluorescence or dye solubilization is a technique, osmotic pressure measurement is a technique. Each and every technique can yield other information in addition to the critical micelle concentration. If you could recollect, I told you that by measuring the surface tension by surface tension method, in addition to the critical micelle concentration, you can also determine two parameters. One is surface excess, gamma surface excess, or this is called Gibbs surface excess, and the area minimum, means minimum area of the molecule, ওই জন্যই বলছি A minimum, ওই যে ক্রস সেকশনাল এরিয়া, যে এটা লাগবে আমার ক্রিটিক্যাল প্যাকিং প্যারামিটার বের করতে, আর কি free energy gives free energy of the interfacial absorption. I can calculate. I can determine this parameter from surface tension. Simply, I can tell you that just to for the এখন আমি জাস্ট শুরুতে বলে রাখি ইকুয়েশনটা কি রকম. Gamma would be gamma I surface excess would be 1 by 2.303 nRT or IRT d gamma d log C. বললাম gamma equals to 1 by 2.303 nRT d gamma d log C. Or I can rewrite the expression as d gamma মানে সারফেস টেনশন তাহলে কি হয়, কেন যত বেশি সারফেক্ট্যান্ট কনসেন্ট্রেশন বাড়াবো, এখানে আমি এটাকে সি দিয়েও লিখতে পারি, যত সারফেক্ট্যান্ট কনসেন্ট্রেশন বাড়াবো তত কি হবে, তত সারফেস টেনশন কমবে। তার মানে এইটা হচ্ছে ডি গামা, আর এইটা কি, এই টার্মটাকে বলা যেতে পারে ডি লগ সি। সো ইউ সি ডি গামা ইকুয়ালস টু তাহলে কি, গামা আই, এটা ক্যাপিটাল গামা আই 2.303 nRT d log C. Is it clear? So d gamma equals to gamma, capital gamma means surface excess, 2.303 nRT or IRT. N means number of species in the solution. আবার বলেছিলাম যখন একটা সারফেক্ট্যান্ট নন আয়নিক সারফেক্ট্যান্ট তখন n equals to 1, যখন আয়নিক সারফেক্ট্যান্ট দেন n equals to 2, যদি দুটো সারফেক্ট্যান্ট নিই তাহলে n equals to 2, একটা আয়নিক যদি দুটো নন আয়নিক সারফেক্ট্যান্ট নিই সেখানে n equals to 4, যদি একটা আয়নিক নিই তার এখানে n equals to 2, আর একটা নন আয়নিক নিই সেখানে তার সঙ্গে যোগ করি, তাহলে টোটাল n ভ্যালু would be equal to 3. This is number of species. So so if I make a plot of d gamma against d log c, তার মানে এই যে gamma versus log c, তার স্লোপটাই হচ্ছে d gamma by d log c. So if I know d gamma by d log c, then I can simply determine the value of, because d gamma by d log c যদি জানা থাকে তাকে 2.303 nRT দিয়ে গুণ করলে ভাগ করলেই তার মানে কি পাবো, d gamma d log c কে 2.303 nRT দিয়ে ভাগ করলেই I will get the surface. Clear? Let us go to that in brief. So what is there? I have, আমি ওই ইকুয়েশনটা ডেরিভেশনটা আজকে কি করে করা যায় সেটা দিয়ে শেষ করব। So let us now discuss this. So just give me a minute. Yes, this is the equation. Just can I have a minute, please? Can I have a minute, please? Please bear with me for a minute. Please bear with me for a minute. Just give me a minute. Give me a minute. I sincerely apologize for the inconvenience. Okay. So here you see, as I have given the equation, I have shown. So you make a plot of. So this is the equation takes the shape like gamma max equals to 1.203 2.3 minus. Why minus? Because if you increase the surfactant concentration, the surface tension decreases. The slope will be negative. You see here in the plot of say what? In the plot of gamma and it is in the log scale. It is in the log scale. So make a plot of gamma versus log C. And near the CMC value, here, near the CMC value, you measure the slope. And that slope will give you the value of near the slope. And oh, I'm sorry, I went to a wrong slide. Okay. And here you see near the slope, you will get the near the slope. If you make, you can determine near the critical Michael concentration. If you determine the slope, so you get the gamma max value. How? This d gamma by d log c, you know, you can determine the d gamma by d log c. Means you determine the slope, you multiply it by 2.303, you get the value of the slope. Actually gives you the value, you get the slope, you can, from which you can simply determine the value of gamma. Is it clear? Now how to derive that expression? I hope you will be able to spare 5 more minutes with me. Kindly bear with me. So here you see, let us derive that expression. So here I have defined that the surface excess is the number of surfactant at unit cross sectional area. মানে আমি যদি টোটাল এরিয়া জানি, তাকে যদি ভাগ করে দিই, তাহলে NI বের করতে পারি। আবার ঠিক একই জিনিস দেখো, and this gamma can experimentally be determined. This gamma I can be determined experimentally. Okay. So NI, if you know, then how can you determine the value of A? A is the, so area যদি একটা মলিকুলের জন্য কত এরিয়া, তাহলে আমি যদি অ্যাভোগাড্রো নাম্বার দিয়ে ভাগ করে দিই, তাহলে সারফেস এক্সেস কে অ্যাভোগাড্রো নাম্বার দিয়ে ভাগ করে দিলে you will get the value of, to divide the surface excess by Avogadro number, then you will get the value of the molecular cross sectional area. How to do that? Okay, let us quickly go. Now, if I consider the situation under, so I have a multiple component. I'm going to component 1, 2, 3, অনেকগুলো component. But before that, let me ask you a simple question. Whether I don't know whether I am having it over here or not. Please bear with me. No, probably I am not having over here. Okay, let me go over there, back to the business. So here, okay, please bear with me. I don't know whether I am having it over here or not. Please. Let me put it. I was trying to find something over here on the last day. Like, could you recollect how I commented on the structure of the surface? The surface is not very static, rather the surface is a diffused one. No, forget about that. Okay, let us go back to our original problem. Oh, here you see. As if you could recollect, I told. Now, when the surface is ideal, then like there is a sharp boundary between the so if I take okay, here you go. What I wanted to say, what I have been wanted to say. So if I am taking water, say air water interface. Now here, if you move across the boundary line, here water has a certain density. The water molecule at the liquid state, it has a density, say 1 gram per cubic centimeter. And here the density of water vapor, I forgot, but it is much less. So if I make a profile of say density and distance, if I make a profile of density versus distance or displacement, or if I go on distance, making a plot of distance against phase concentration, here the phase 1 is concentrated, the phase 2 is very diameter. Now, what would be happening in an ideal situation when there is no vaporization? The what would be density? So if I move the phase concentration would be constant. But again, at a certain distance, when there is the surface, say air mercury interface, so the density would be almost zero, and there won't be any vapor molecule at hand. But if the surface is diffused, say for diffused means if it is vaporizable, if it is volatile, say water, then the profile would be like this. The profile would be like this, and it will never reach zero. So this is the surface is not exactly sour, it is diffused. তাহলে এই রিজিয়নটাতে তার মানে কি এইখানে কেমিক্যাল পটেনশিয়ালটা একরকম, এইখানে কেমিক্যাল পটেনশিয়ালটা একরকম, বাট এই জায়গাটাতে কেমিক্যাল পটেনশিয়ালটা ইউনিফর্ম, এই জায়গায় কেমিক্যাল পটেনশিয়ালটা ইউনিফর্ম. So what is the chemical potential difference at the surface or at the interface? If I can calculate it, I will be able to determine the surface axis. Let us quickly go over there. I think you are hungry, but please allow me for 5 more minutes. So if I take the several components, then sigma is the interfacial energy change would be equal to sum of the surface axis and the chemical potential change. So d sigma I would be equal to gamma 1 d mu 1 minus gamma 2 d mu, sub minus they can't because there would be a surface axis, so there would be the surface axis. If it is surface axis, then the chemical the overall interfacial energy should decrease through interfacial absorption, and mu is the chemical potential. Now the change in Gibbs free energy of a system, এটা জানা আছে কি, যদি the change in Gibbs free energy is equal to, that is equal to the change in Gibbs free energy dg equals to minus sdt plus, জানো ইকুয়েশনটা minus sdt plus ddp plus sigma dA and summation of mu I dni, where g is the, এগুলো জানো তাহলে কি, g is the free energy, Gibbs free energy, S is entropy, pressure is P is pressure, V is volume, and T is the temperature. Ni আমি অলরেডি বলেছি একটা কম্পোনেন্ট। না টু কম্পোনেন্ট সিস্টেম হলে কি হবে, N2 হবে সারফ্যাক্ট্যান্ট যারা কিনা সারফেসে অ্যাবজর্ব হবে, আর N1 would be water. Now if I perform the experiment at constant temperature and constant pressure, so first to term on your right hand side, SDT, if it is at constant temperature, so SDT becomes 0. If it is done at constant pressure, the second term becomes 0. Then you are left with only dg equals to dg এবং তখন কি হবে, then also the chemical potential, so dg would be equal to what, sigma into dA. Okay, তাহলে just sigma equals to dg by dA. Now এবারে ওইখানে dg এর ভ্যালুটা বসিয়ে you get d sigma is equal to minus nis by a d mu I. Okay, so and eventually that is equals to minus summation of surface axis and chemical potential change. কোথায় across the surface. So now let us move to the situation where we are across the surface. So d sigma equals to minus summation of surface axis. So d sigma equals to minus summation of gamma I d mu I. আমি যখন সারফ্যাক্ট্যান্ট ইন ওয়াটার কনসিডার করব তখন ইট ইজ বেসিক্যালি এ টু কম্পোনেন্ট সিস্টেম, এবং আবার কি বলেছি, সলিউটটাকে আমরা কম্পোনেন্ট 2 ধরি, সলভেন্টকে কি ধরি, কম্পোনেন্ট 1 ধরি। তাহলে ওয়াটারের ক্ষেত্রে তাহলে সারফ্যাক্ট্যান্ট ইন ওয়াটার, ইট উড বি ডি সিগমা, সারফ্যাক্ট্যান্টের সারফেস এক্সেস যদি মেজার করতে চাই, ডি সিগমা উড বি ইকুয়াল টু ফ্রি এনার্জি চেঞ্জ, ডি সিগমা for surfactant would be equal to minus gamma 2 means surfactant surface excess of the surfactant at the interface d mu 2 chemical potential change of the surfactant. Now again I know mu equals to mu 0 plus RT ln A2. এটা ধারণা এক্সটেনশন রয়েছে। Again তাহলে d mu 2 কত হবে? Mu 0 is the ideal chemical standard chemical potential. That would be equal to 0. তাহলে d mu 2 means RT d ln A2. দেখো এখান থেকে পাওয়া গেছে। তাহলে d mu 2 equals to RT ln A2. তাহলে d mu 2 equals to RT d ln A2. Now you put the value of d mu 2 over here. You get d sigma equals to minus gamma 2 RT d ln A2. তাহলে gamma 2 কত হবে? Gamma 2 would be equals to minus 1 by RT d sigma by d ln C2. Sigma টা কি? Surface energy. It can be considered, can be converted into surface tension. So that is why the equation what I told you, what I have shown you, the surface excess can be calculated as the gamma max, which is equal to 1 by I'm sorry 1 by 2.303. এই যে ইকুয়েশনটা এতক্ষণ ডেরিভেশনটা দেখালাম, it was for one component system. If number of species in solution is 2, means out of the surfactant. If it is non-ionic surfactant, I is equal to 1. If it is ionic surfactant, I would be equal to 2. If I take multiple components, then accordingly I to be is to be calculated. So once you get the surface excess, then how can you calculate the surface excess? You just get the slope of surface tension. You get the slope of surface tension as I have shown. Sorry, it is not there. You just make a slope, make a plot of surface tension against log C, surface tension against log C, surface tension against log C. Then from the slope near the critical micelle concentration, you can get the gamma max. Once you know the value of gamma max, then you can also calculate the A value. How can you calculate that A value? The area minimum or minimum area, cross-sectional area of a surfactant molecule. How can it be calculated? This is the equation. Area minimum is equal to the inverse of gamma max, 1 by gamma max into 1 by NA. 10 to the power 8, 21 টা দিয়ে গুণ করা হয়েছে just to convert it into the meter per mole square. Otherwise, basically, A minimum is equal to the 1 by Avogadro number into 1 by the surface excess. So if you can determine the surface excess, then you can calculate the, if you can determine the surface excess, you can determine the A minimum value. Clear? Now, so if you know the, and we have already seen how to calculate the free energy of micellization. The free energy of micellization, and I have shown how to calculate the fraction of counter-ion dissociation. It is the post and pre ratio of the post and pre-micellar. Okay. Now, once you know the free energy of micellization, yes, if you could recollect that we have determined the free energy of micellization. So once you know the free energy of micellization, and once you know the other adsorption parameters, the parameters for the interfacial adsorption, then the free energy of adsorption can also be calculated using this expression. Free energy of adsorption is equal to delta G0 at delta G0 adsorption. It means it is the free energy, gives free energy of adsorption. It is equal to the free energy of micellization minus pi CMC by gamma max. What is pi CMC? I have already mentioned. Pi CMC is the surface pressure at the critical micelle concentration. And how can it determine surface pressure? Is the difference between the surface tension of pure solvent minus solution. So you can simply calculate the free energy of adsorption. So you see, now if I know the A value, so I can eventually calculate the critical packing parameter. So these are the characteristics or some parameters of micelles. Next day we will discuss about the microemulsion. Now, so far we have studied the aggregation of surfactant in water. Now, surfactants also form aggregates in oil. They are called reverse micelle, and also the core of the surfactant can accommodate some oil molecule. On the other hand, if I have a reverse micelle, the core of the reverse micelle can accommodate some water molecule. So I can disperse some oil in water, or the vice versa. Means I can disperse some water in oil. So these are called emulsion. So micelle, so that oil and water do not mix, it is an old idea. In fact, oil and water, they do mix with each other with the help of an emulsifying agent. Milk is an example of naturally occurring emulsion. Okay, this much today. So next day we'll discuss about the emulsion and microemulsion. But before that, let me open up the discussion part. If you have any question, please unmute your mobile phone and just don't hesitate to ask me question. You can turn on your video as well if you want. So children, do you have any questions? Children, any questions? I open it up. Any questions from the children? If you have any questions, do not hesitate to ask me. Unmute your phone. তাহলে আজকে কি পড়লাম? আজকে পড়লাম ক্রিটিক্যাল প্যাকিং প্যারামিটার। আমরা কতদিনে শেষ করেছিলাম সেখান থেকে শুরু করে ক্রিটিক্যাল প্যাকিং প্যারামিটারটা কি করে ক্যালকুলেট করা যায়, হাইড্রোকার্বন ময়েটিটার ভলিউমটা কি করে ক্যালকুলেট করা যায়, ক্রস সেকশনাল এরিয়া অফ দ্য সারফেক্টেন্ট কি করে ক্যালকুলেট করা যায়, এগ্রিগেশন নাম্বার কি করে ক্যালকুলেট করা যায় বাই ফ্লোরোসেন্স কোয়েঞ্চিং মেথড or light scattering or small angle neutron scattering. I have not discussed in detail about the working principle of light scattering or small angle neutron scattering. But the idea is, if you know the aggregate weight, divide the aggregate weight by the molecular weight of the monomer, then you get the aggregation number. Then we have discussed in detail about the phenomena of interfacial adsorption and how to calculate what is surface excess and how to calculate the surface excess. So do you have any questions? Most of you have left, I understand. But any questions? Children, any question? Any questions, folks? Boys and girls? Ladies and gentlemen, any question? কারো কোনো প্রশ্ন আছে? Okay, if not, then let me go back to my original slide. And I only have found the 12. We are left with only 12. Haradhaner, we started with around 30 or 40 children, and we are left with only 12. Maybe you are very hungry. Okay, let us now end the meeting with this. And I will again, there would be the lecture on tomorrow morning. At what time? At what time? At 11 o'clock. I will send you the link. And today's lecture, I will send you the lecture to your friends with the Gmail ID. Okay? তোমাদের যাদের জিমেল আছে, যে দুজন আমাকে পাঠিয়েছো, আমি ইভিনিং এবং মর্নিং দুই ব্যাচেই আমি তোমাদের জিমেলে আমি ওই লিঙ্কটা শেয়ার করে দেবো, তোমরা ডাউনলোড করে নেবে, করে অন্যদের আবার পাঠিয়ে দেবে। Besides, it will be uploaded in the university depository as well as in বিদ্যাসাগর, তোমাদের বলেছিলাম আগেও, বিদ্যাসাগর ইউনিভার্সিটি অফিসিয়াল বলে ইউটিউবে একটা আমাদের রয়েছে, সেখানে তোমরা সাবস্ক্রাইব করে নাও। সাবস্ক্রাইব করলে অ্যান্ড ওখানে ওই একটা অ্যালার্মের মতো রয়েছে, বেলের মতো রয়েছে, ওখানে ক্লিক করলে you will get alert once you open your YouTube. Okay, this much, boys and girls. I'll see you tomorrow at 11 o'clock. Till then, bye. Stay safe, stay at home.